Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ascension Astrology. My name is Janet Hickox, and I'm from Living Astrology. You all might know me from the morning show that I do. And I'm sitting here today with Kornelia Stephanie.
Welcome to the Ascension and Astrology show. I'm from KorneliaStephanie.com, and we are here to talk about Ascension and Astrology today. Thanks so much for joining and for being here with us.
Lovely. Look at the comments already in here when we turned on. Sherry Bird, good morning, good afternoon. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong time zone. Crystal Bonnet, all I know is I'm happy Mercury finally went direct.
Here. Woohoo, woohoo.
I wasn't convinced. Kornelia said something to me earlier about Mercury turning direct today, and I went, I wonder what time of day that is, because I didn't feel different yet. And it actually occurred at 6:53 a.m. this morning. Pacific time.
Okay, well that's cool, but it does take Mercury, right, 2 weeks before it captures and it gets all the shadow places, right?
Well, and turning direct means it stations direct, meaning it just stops. It appears to stop. It doesn't really stop, but it appears to just stop and hang there as it's preparing to move forward. And the next couple of weeks, while it's moving forward, it's going back through territory it's already been in. So we will relive, reevaluate, remaster, redo some of the things that we've already experienced while Mercury was in retrograde. So,
well, I feel like there was a shift. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of the thought that Mercury was going direct. It was like, okay, now we can celebrate. Let's go. Let's communicate. Yeah. Let's talk. Let's make money. Let's do this.
Let's do that.
Mercury is all about commerce and communication and selling, and let's move forward. Yes, I'm ready to go. I got my bag packed and I'm ready. So maybe it was just as simple as that. But, maybe that was the shift for me,
Could be, absolutely. Could be your mood. I was thinking about this earlier because she had said to me earlier today that she was feeling highly energetic. She was up at, 2 a.m., did you say?
For the last couple nights. I've been waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've been feeling like, okay, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, no, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Go back to sleep. Well, okay, it took a while. And then, when you fall back asleep, it
takes its time.
But you know what? The thing about it is that the awakening in the morning has not been about any negative thoughts that awaken me up. I think a lot of people have been experiencing this on the Ascension timeline is because all of the intensity and the solar waves and the energy and the gamma waves and everything that we experiencing is just hard to sleep through the night all the way. There's so much happening.
So much happening. And on top of that, when we have a lot of planets in Pisces, which we've had Mercury, now we have Venus, the sun was just there. Neptune is there for at least another 6 or 7 years, right? So while we have this focus in very dreamlike Pisces, we'll feel elements of time shift, right? Where we're moving fast ahead, where we're stalled, and then where we're sometimes even, backpedaling. So for a while yet, we have this Pisces energy. At least Venus and Mercury will move faster than.
I was so happy with Venus moving into Pisces. That was another huge gift yesterday when I also felt that, because part of what I felt that was about was a collaborative support, the feminine energy, Venus, the goddess of love, abundance, prosperity, support, showing up to offer support to us now. And this was reflected back to me when a friend was calling me, texted me and said, by the way, all the people that she had a fall, and she had a fall, and she really needed some help. So she needed a housekeeper to come back and various different people. And I had made her Marco Polo, and the message that I said was just perfect, what she needed to hear. And there were so many things. And I go, that's Venus and Pisces. That's that energy that just completely showing up and supporting us and making us feel abundant and feeling supported, that we're not alone. And that even though it may feel like, that sometimes, but that we have all the support that we need. And the main thing that we have to do is ask. Is ask for when you need help, and ask for the support that you need.
Well, and it's a recipe for compassion and sympathy, and that the feel good energies within us, right? So it does have its high side, but it also slows things down somewhat. And that wasn't helped by Mars being in Taurus, which, hallelujah, moves out of Taurus on Saturday. So this whole week has been characteristic of change. This whole week has been about Venus moving into Pisces, and then Mercury changing direction, and now Mars changing into Gemini. So everything about this whole week, this last week of March, if you will, has been about transformation and change, moving the energy into new ways of being expressed. So, hey, Vanita and Laura, it's good to see you two out there as well.
I want to ask Laura Hammer is, she's been doing the self-love series, and wanted to know what your feedback was on the self-love series, if you've actually gotten in, and if you've been doing it and working it, and if it's been of service to you. I'd sure love to get some feedback from you. Because self-love is really where it's at. It's that unconditional self-love right now more than ever. That radical self-love that we have to give to radical self-love.
Yeah.
So many wonderful things.
Yeah. So many wonderful things. So today, Cornelia, I get this, Marco Polo from Cornelia saying, I want to talk about joy. This was like at 6 a.m. this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I want to talk about joy, and how do we keep joyful even in the face of all of these changes where life is up 1 minute, down the next, and sort of that up and down. We could chart it, right? And it would look a little bit like peaks and valleys of mountain ranges. So let's talk about that. So joy, Laura says, by the way, yes, I love it. Thanks.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, great.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, let's talk about joy. So how are you experiencing joy in your life right now? Like, are you experiencing joy? Are you feeling like joy is out of reach? Are you, what about you? Like, where are you at with joy? That's like, are you feeling joy is out of reach? Where are you with the energy of joy? Do you feel like it only comes around once in a while? What's your state of, where are you with that?
I don't believe it comes around once in a while. I believe that, at any moment we can spark joy within us by, focusing on something that makes us happy, or on gratitude, or something, that takes us away from the doldrums of the day. So, for example, I've had a lot of ups and downs over the last week. I could just tell you, just different things going on in my life, in my personal life. But I'll go outside and I see hummingbirds feeding at the feeder, and I'm like, oh, that's just so exciting. Or the sunshine on the water, and it looks like a bunch of diamonds out there. And I'm like, that's so cool. Driving here today, that field of daffodils.
God, I know.
Oh, Lord, there's just this beautiful field that seems to go on forever, of just a blanket of yellow. It's difficult not to be joyful. I mean, how do you not be joyful in the face of color and flowers and birds and sunshine? And even yesterday, when it was rainier here, or whatever day it was raining, I was outside for a bit and I saw flowers. My own daffodils had come up in my garden. And I was like, oh my gosh, even in the midst of rain, here's this beautiful color. So I think joy is in a moment. It's in a space even between the heavier things that we're doing in our lives, or experiences that we're having, and the now, right? It's right there. You just have to reach out and grab it. And, I don't know if we were doing these shows at the time, Cornelia, but Saturn, the planet of, duty, responsibility, the, taskmaster guy, he was sitting in human design at the gate 58, which is the gate of joy.
Oh.
And it's in the root center. So what we glean from that is that the root center, meaning the interface that we have with the planet, and the impulse to life begins with joy.
And the way I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, the way that I see it is that we weren't born. We are love, but we weren't born in joy, meaning that our cellular memory wasn't born in joy. We weren't born there. We were transcending what we were born into to put joy in its place. But you know how I recently had Pia and Colin.
Yeah.
We're going to be bringing them on to this show here in a couple weeks. They're awesome because they channel a group consciousness called Largma. And Largma is a consciousness energy that is a group energy, 6-1 and 1-6. So it's very interesting. But when what Largma talks about that joy is the result of something that we are, that it's the result. So, through something that we're creating,
Mm-hmm.
and then joy is the result, right? Because we are love, but joy is the result of what it is that we're creating. So I thought that was an interesting perspective. For my own personal ascension work and my own personal grid, my inner grid work, my tree of life, my physical body, how I perceive it and what I've set up for myself is that I put joy in the center. So literally depositing joy in the core of my being, that's where I want it. I want joy in the core of my being. And that the reason why that's so powerful is because I put it there. That's why that's so powerful. Is that
it was a choice.
It was a choice, and I put joy in the center. I put it there. So now it's my blueprint. This is now my energetic signature. I put joy in the center. It's now my new birth, my new blueprint, my new earth, because I put joy there. It's that seed from seeding the garden is seeding that seed and putting joy there. Now, the interesting thing is, what happens is when we are in a challenge, okay, because this is what you're talking about, the ups and downs that you're feeling. Right now, I'm like in such a great mood and so excited.
She's on a high.
I'm totally on a high.
She's like,
it's like my ship has come in and I'm super excited. So the thing is with the joy piece is that when you're faced with a challenge, I've been faced with a challenge as well. Deep challenge this week. Super big challenge. And how do we bring joy into the space when we're faced with a challenge? Because, we can all act joyful when it's beautiful and we're not challenged and everything is great. And then, oh, great, everything's fine. But literally, how can we be in joy when we're challenged with a health challenge, or we're challenged with relationship trauma, or we've got financial challenges, whatever the challenge may be? How can we then bring joy into that experience, right?
I think the question isn't maybe there, that we don't start there, but we maybe have to look at what is joy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what does that mean? I mean, sure, we have this idea of joy as being excitement and pleasure or fun or, that effervescence, but is that all that it is? Right? Maybe joy is even in the quiet moments.
Yeah.
Right? Even in the midst of a crisis, that space that you can find of peace, maybe that joy is there too.
I think it's a really good thing for people to do is to, as with anything, because we are all our own inner gurus. We are all our own inner masters. We are all our own we have all the wisdom. We're our own healers. We're our own, gurus. What other word is there than guru? We're our own masters. We're our own masters.
We're our own.
So we
authorities.
That's the word. The authorities. And so we have to define what something means to us. And that's why when you said, what does joy mean? What does abundance mean? What does success mean? What does love mean? What does, what does prosperity mean to you? What does the new earth mean to you? That's why the inner work is so important, and being quiet and listening and journaling, so that we can each know and define what certain things mean to us. In my membership, KorneliaStephanieVIP.com, that is where I help people define what these things mean. What is the meaning of success? What is the meaning of prosperity? What is the meaning of joy? What is the meaning of a light body? What is the meaning of all these things, right? But what I was discovering the other day is listening to a conversation between me and God. And the conversation was, well, how can I be joyful right now? How can I be joyful right now when I have this huge challenge right here? How can I be in joy right now? How can I do that?
If you hadn't done that to me, I could be in joy.
You know, how can I be in joy right now with this? I'm completely irritated right now, right? And how can I be in joy? And what I heard back was very easy, is put joy first.
Put a smile on your face.
Because the thing about it is that you are being in resistance. You're being in resistance. And what you know, put joy into this energetic experience first. Be joy first. Not when you get there, then you'll be joyful. Then when you've manifested everything that you want, then you'll be happy, then you'll be joyful. But if you can put joy first, so kind of like, if you can put the cart before the horse, if you can do that, then you can be joyful now, not when you get there, not because it's the destination. Let the destination be joy.
I was just looking at what the word joy resonates to in terms of numbers. It's a 5. It's a 14-5.
Wow.
So 5 is freedom. The number of freedom. It is the number of constructive use of freedom. So maybe it's constructive use of, you know, it's interesting because I think a lot of people think of joy as an emotion. And it isn't, at least not in, you know, human design or astrology or the gene keys. Joy is foundational.
Oh, wow. That's, again, it's that center.
Yeah,
it's the center.
Yeah, when you said center, I'm like, absolutely. Because it's not sitting over here in the solar plexus waiting for something for us to react to that brings up or evokes that feeling. It's on the root center.
Yeah.
It forms the basis of who we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And to have joy in the root. The joy is knowing that you are
joy, your own joy.
Totally. You are joy. Yeah. I am joy. You are joy. We are joy.
By the way, hello, Camille, and hello, Asa. I saw that she was there. And hello, Rebecca.
Hi.
Nice to see you ladies too.
And then now I know that we are on Facebook Live. We're talking about joy today. I'm Kornelia Stephanie. Janet Hickox is with me. We're here on the Ascension and Astrology show. And then we want to talk to some of the newcomers that are just coming on to join us here. And that people can, is it only people that are part of this that can comment, or can other people comment too?
Anybody can comment if they are watching the live stream.
I like what you say, to put joy first. That's it, Laura, is putting joy first before we get what it is that we're wanting to manifest. That's actually what I heard back, is that put joy first. Then you're going to have a joyful experience, because the point is that if we're frustrated and if we're in a challenge, the inner child and the ego wants to go, well, I want this gone. I want my, whatever it is that I want. I need this to be fixed.
I want my cake.
I want my, and so no, it's put joy first. So clear the energy, clear the fears around whatever the challenge is, clear the fears, what the challenge is, get all that cleaned up. Now you've got the fears cleared up, and then put joy first. Put joy first. The challenge is still going to be there, because you still may have an undiagnosed situation. You may still have a relationship trauma. You may still have a financial challenge. That's still there, but now you've cleared the fears associated with it and you've put joy in the center, which is what you want, because we are all miracle workers. All of us are. We're miracle workers. And guess what? We don't even see the work that we've been doing on this planet. We haven't really been seeing it, like all the work that we're doing, all the inner work isn't really fully all that evident yet outside in the 3D world. But we have to trust the work that we've been doing
is taking us somewhere.
Is taking us somewhere, and it is seeding the gardens, and it is helping us build our new world, which is part of the reason why next week Janet and I are going to talk about next year, 2020, because really right now our ground is so fertile, and it's absolutely essential that we put joy first. It's essential that we put radical self-love. It is essential that we release and transcend those fears, because we are giving birth to the new world. Even though we may not be able to see everything yet, because we're still seeing this physical 3D reality that's very chaotic out there. There's a lot of people suffering, a lot of stuff going on, right? Lots of stuff. And 2020 is going to be a very interesting thing. So many of us now are being really geared to position ourselves and be in support for all the changes that are coming. And I asked Janet today before the show that next week I want us to talk about Pluto in Capricorn and, the other planets that you talked about.
Pluto and Saturn both in Capricorn right now. Jupiter joining them in December. Mm-hmm. So as we move into 2020, the three of them, for the first time in 1,498 years, something like that, will come together. But what is unique about it is that it comes together 3 times in 2020, not just the one time. And the last time that happened was in the year 534 BC.
Wow.
Before Christ. So I figured that had to have been a long time ago.
So
maybe it's more like 2,400 years.
That's crazy. So I'm sure that when you next week, when you bring this information, because one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this to the Ascension and Astrology show is because my higher guidance, my team is asking to talk about this. So I want to bring it out. And then of course, Janet's got this whole piece about the astrology that where she's so excellent at educating us with astrology and her wisdom that she has. And then I don't even really know yet what all the things that that I want to add into it, but for some reason we want to talk about it. And next week that's what the show is going to be about next week. So be sure to tune in. But I want to get back to one thing about.
Wait, hold, stop. Can I reframe something for a moment?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I want to reframe that idea of the fertile soil, because what's really happening, have you ever seen those sifters, like it's a grate and you put soil in it and you sift it, right? So that all of the impurities are staying up at the top, and what's coming through to the bottom, to the actual garden, is the good stuff. That's really what we're doing at this point. We haven't even really gotten to the point where we can plant in it yet, because we're still sifting out the rocks, the pieces of glass, the stuff that doesn't belong. And that's why things are a little bit chaotic, because we're being shook up so that what's settling, what stays, is what will be fertile, and what doesn't stay is what we didn't need anyway.
That's it.
Right?
That's absolutely.
That's kind of the process that I see 2019 as.
Exactly. 2019 is that process of really seeding, which is why I'm always inviting everybody to get the Keeper of the Garden course, because it really helps you. 21 days, $21 to seed your fertile ground. If you want to get the Keeper of the Garden course, go to KorneliaStephanie.com and click on the tab, Keeper of the Garden. It's going to help you every single day to rewrite the story of your life. 10 minutes a day. It's going to support you in releasing negative suppressed emotions. It's going to ask you what it is that you value, what's important to you, what your relationships are mirroring to you, what is it that you're releasing, what is it that you're letting go of, and what is it that you're grateful for today. And it's all done in 10 minutes, $21,
Easy deal.
21 days. I mean, it's super. But everything that you just said, as far as that sifting piece, because that's really what we're doing with building our new earth and putting the new structures down. We're laying those new structures down. We're laying down the new grids, and we're laying down the new structures with putting joy first. And that's the reason why, like Janet said to me today, she said, you know, because we were doing the Marco Polo video back and forth, and she said, oh, isn't it so great that you're doing so good? Because I told her, Mercury is direct, yeah. And she goes, it's so good that you're around the astrology. And I made her a video back, and I told her, I said, you know, without astrology and ascension, I would be insane. That's what I said. I said, I would be insane, because really, when I left the matrix, the corporate world, and I'm not saying anything bad about the corporate world or anybody that's in the corporate world, because I do believe that some people are strategically placed there to hold the light and be the light, and that it's all good.
To prepare for the changes.
To prepare for the changes, yeah. But when I left, I thought that I was going to be traveling the world at that time right away in 2008, and I was going to be this motivational speaker. And then literally the whole ascension experience opened up for me, and that's when I started really diving deep into the ascension and developed my own emotional core work and the coaching and consulting business that I've developed now over the last 10 years. So and without the astrology, like helping us figure out, what the planets are doing and what's going on, the squares and the different things, ascension and astrology go so well together. That's why it's like
you can't have one without the other, really, because astrology is showing the map, the timeline, the foundation of it.
Yeah, right. And I mean that we can use astrology just to strategically plan, what it is that's going on, and it helps us in our humanity to not be insane, because it's like, oh, okay, and also with the ascension symptoms, that's why it's so important to talk about ascension and make it normal, and show people that, oh, ascension is not what what is written per se or perceived of in the Bible, that okay, now we're all
rapture,
rapture. Ascension really is, again, moving up into a higher vibrational way of being and living in consciousness and bringing our physical bodies up into that place. And where before that we were residing in lower places, we're now ascending up into a higher state of consciousness. So is our Earth, and that's what this whole thing.
So is the whole of the solar system.
Yeah,
so, I mean, everything is ascending. It's not just Earth or us as human beings. I wanted to just make some comments here. Stephanie Coy, good morning to you from Australia.
Good morning.
Yes, she's in Australia.
Totally.
Yeah, so our 4 o'clock is like their 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., something like that.
It's good morning somewhere.
So it's morning somewhere. She says, well, it's morning here. Joy feels like effervescent bubbles in my belly that fill me up and make my auric field sparkle.
Ooh.
I mean, that's just such a wonderful string of words. I love it.
That is. And thank you for making this auric field sparkle as you've spoken into it. Thank you for that.
And then Laura says, then we work through the filter of joy. Otherwise, we're working through the other filters. Asa asks a very good question, though, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering this. Is there still time to give birth to our new world, or have we missed the portal?
Hell no, you have not missed the portal. The portal is, there's always time. That's the whole point, is that don't let the Gregorian calendar trip you up in thinking that you've lost the time. Is that you can always choose in any present moment that you find yourself in, that you are giving birth to the new world. the beautiful thing is that we've all chosen already, and that we're all going. Some of us are going kicking and screaming, and others of us are, forging the path, and we're going. So it's just, you're eventually going to get there. It's just easier to do it now. It's by choice and going, I'm giving birth to the new world. I want to release the old world. I want to let go of the old world. I don't want to do this anymore. And as soon as you do that, everything in your system is going to line up to support you in the choice and the decision that you make.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
I often wonder if there won't be some kind of schism, like where some people are moving through ascension energies and doing the things that clean up the earth and that support us moving on into love and light, and that there is another group that chooses the lower frequencies, and they are providing the resistance, which creates energy for the rest of the path forward and upward.
Well, I feel like that's true. And I also feel like, the resistance is already happening out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Any experience that you get triggered by.
So why do we add to it? We don't need to add to it.
It is the resistance. It's, it's the contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's giving us any kind of triggers is a contrast to the old world, for us to clear from our physical body, release from our physical body, let go and move on. And then what is it that you choose? What is it that you're releasing and letting go of? What is it that you're choosing now? And we really need to do is choose the new earth. I do think you're right that there is going to be a group of the old earth,
like a 70-30, like 30.
Yeah.
I'm making this up, right?
Yeah.
I have no way to qualify that.
But
this is just.
No,
this,
but you know what that is? That what you're saying is that 70-30 is that's your internal guidance system that's saying that, and the only reason why you don't have no way to prove it. So we don't need proof on the Ascension and Astrology show. So
because we're making it up as we go along.
There you go.
Right. There was something, I was going to say an observation, and I wonder how many of you guys have noticed this, and you can just, chime in and tell us that even though I don't know that we will ever be immune to those ups and downs, right? That, life is life. We get things, thrown at us. But what I've noticed is how quickly I can move through something, right? Even if it's bad news or a problem. At times in my life, it would have been like way down forever, or what seemed like forever. But now it's like, okay, so now I'm going to have to process this, right? This news that I got that I'm going to process, and then I can come out on that other end so much quicker. It's almost like a finger snap.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, so if you're in the news that you got, or you're in the challenge, and then so like you're in the challenge, and obviously in the challenge you're not joyful.
Correct.
But you're going to move through that so quickly that then it's like, choose joy again, put joy first. And if we make that a habit, let me say it again, and if we make that a habit,
but you're so right.
It's true.
Because the shit that we do now is all habit.
Right. I know, right? If we make that a habit.
Look at everybody's telling us they've noticed this. So here's the thing. Here's the funny thing that happened to me. And I don't even know if I shared this with you, but I noticed something really weird one day. My husband was having what they thought was a stroke, right? This was 2 years ago now. And I called the paramedics, or whatever they're called. They come out and they're working on him. And I'm standing there and I have no emotion around what's happening. I'm standing there. I mean, obviously I'm concerned. I want him helped. And one of the paramedics looks at me and she goes, "Wow, you're so calm." And the thought I had was that the expectation is that I should be falling apart because of this thing that's going on. But is my falling apart helping anybody? It certainly wouldn't be helping me. And it's certainly not going to help him. And I would have been in the way of what, everything that was going on. And as it turned out, he did not have a stroke. It wasn't even close. Believe it or not, it was a migraine.
Wow.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
There's migraines can do that. But my point was that we've had this conditioning from maybe experiences from our parents or just the world in general that tells us almost like in a dictation about how it is that we should be responding when things show up.
Yeah.
So our natural inclination in a crisis or with bad news or a financial problem or whatever is that knee-jerk reaction of, oh my God, what have I got? Constriction.
Exactly. And you know what? That's so good. That's so well. You're going to love this word because, we know that Janet is so amazing with words, right? She's such an amazing, articulate speaker. So you're going to love this word, equanimity.
I love it.
Okay, equanimity. And so what you were just saying is that, you were taking the observer perspective or stand during a crisis, being the calm in the storm, and practicing equanimity. Put it there. Yeah.
But the point I was trying to make is that there was this sense, oh my God, am I not reacting right? Or in my mind, I started running with that, like, oh, I guess I should panic or I should be upset. Why? They had it under control. No amount of me being upset or worried was going to make it any easier or make the process easier. So I'm going to give you a word. Acceptance.
Love that word. Love that word.
The gate where Chiron is sitting at right now in our human design is the gate 25. In its lowest frequency, it is constriction. It's that feeling of choking up or, not being, if we were to, even our body posture, what happens when you get bad news or when something is happening, you crunch down or you cross your arms maybe. But if we opened up, and embraced, accepted that this is what's in our face right now, there's nothing I can do, it just is here at the moment, then we have a space where we can choose to react or not react, such as the case is.
This is great. This is such a great, this isn't just awesome conversation. It reminds me when you said the word acceptance, because here's an interesting thing. We put together a video yesterday. I showed it to you today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, we put together a video, and the people that were putting together the video, they took a picture of me. They took something of mine that was when I had much more weight on than I do today. And when I saw the picture, that I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, that was when I was, at least 10 pounds heavier or whatever. And really, okay, I saw that, and I'm like, and the first thought was going to be is remove that immediately. And then I thought, who gives a shit? Seriously, I thought, who gives a shit? Because you know what? The video is so great. It's such a beautiful video. They did such a great job. So what, I had 10 pounds more. Talking about the word acceptance is like, you know what? I totally accept this, because you know what the truth about it is that nobody cares. Really, nobody cares but me. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
And if somebody cares enough to say something like, oh, look at her, she looks fat in that video, you don't want them in your life anyway.
Yeah. And so
because they're focusing on the wrong thing.
But again, it was perfect to notice this. It's like, oh, my vanity. It's like, oh my God, I wanted to be, like this. But talk about acceptance. Talk about acceptance of yourself.
Yeah.
And where we are. I just want to tell all the new people that are coming on and that are watching this show, not live with us, but if you're watching this show after, is that one of the things is that we're doing is we're growing the YouTube channel, and we would love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. There's like a subscribe button, and then if you subscribe to it, every time when we do a video, it's going to show up in your YouTube news feed, and it's also going to help us become partners with YouTube, because we have to have
1,000 likes.
1,000 likes.
1,000 subscribers.
We have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to
monetize the site.
And this is us showing our wisdom and sharing our gifts of our divinity with everyone. And in order for us to be able to monetize the site, we need to be able to show greater numbers. So anyone here that even hasn't gone to like, share, and subscribe, please support us to do that. And anybody that wants to receive a gift from me, is that I would be most happy to offer you a self-love course And you can email me at radio@korneliastephanie.com, and I will be happy to give you that gift in exchange for liking, sharing, and subscribing, because it's like, we appreciate you and we value you, and thank you for helping us build this channel so that we can build the new world together.
We are building the new world together.
And what's going to be really, really cool, go ahead.
She wants us to post the link. Okay.
What link?
The link probably to our YouTube channel, and I'm going to do that in just a moment here. So for a second, it will look like I'm not paying a bit of attention to y'all, okay? So,
Okay.
But that's not the truth. I am really paying attention.
Yep.
But in my...
So yeah, we're gonna post the link there, and then also put the email address, radio@korneliastephanie.com, if you want a gift for doing that.
So I just put radio@korneliastephanie.com, say I subscribed, or I liked, or I shared, and she'll send you a gift. And now I'm going to put up what the YouTube channel is.
Guess what we're gonna be doing, as the plans for this channel is, we want more engagement from our audience, because truly that is what people want. I don't know about you, but this is really what I want. I want to connect with people. I really want to connect with people. And you've done that so well with your Meta Cafe, because you've really connected with your people, and you're going back and forth. And that is really what we want to build the new world with, is that sense of connection, because there's so much information that's out there all the time that's being, pounded at us. And it's like, we don't need to be overloaded with more information. What we want connection and engagement. And so that's really what we want to do. And eventually, as we're building this channel and as we're getting better at what it is that we're doing here, is that we're going to be offering all kinds of gifts. We want to get to the point to have our engagement to where we're offering prizes that are like $50 Amazon gift cards for having you engage with us for different things that are coming, because we're going to have our channel is going to be on Amazon Fire and Roku. That's coming. That's going to be probably in about a month. And we're going to ask you, to help us spread that word and get that information out too. So, and for you engaging with us and helping us do this, we're going to be offering you all kinds of prizes, books, gift cards, money.
We already have a gift for people when on April 18th, when we do the show with Pia and Cullen.
What are we gonna have?
I have a calendar for a new calendar, a Pleiadian Earth calendar.
Wonderful. And then the other thing I thought about what we can offer as gifts too is offer a subscription to your membership, offer a subscription to my membership, a yearly subscription.
We've got all kinds of stuff.
We can offer, you and I are combining our memberships as a service. We can offer a subscription to that. So there's a lot of things. And like one of the things, like there's just so many things that we can do that it's really exciting to be able to collaborate with you and work together with you to help us spread the message and get this good news out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanita. She says she already has. Thank you, Stephanie. I think that's what I posted the link. Hopefully you've gone there already. Rebecca, I know a lot of people already have. Thank you so much if you've already done that. It means a lot to us. And now you can also go to our Facebook Ascension and Astrology page and like that page and share that with your friends as well, because that's where we're actually broadcasting on now, is our own Facebook page. So there we go.
And while we're asking, that's the other thing, is we have to get really good at asking for what it is that we want and what it is that we need. One other thing I would love your help with and asking for is I would love people to subscribe to my newsletter. And on my newsletter, I'm always putting out Ascension content, and I'm sharing leading edge entrepreneurs that I'm hosting on my radio shows. And so I'd love for people to subscribe to my newsletter. And if you text the word Kornelia to the number 22828, text the word Kornelia to the number 22828. You're going to automatically get signed up for the newsletter. It comes out once a week. And also there, I'm going to be doing the same thing that we're bringing here, and that's going to be offering prizes, offering giveaways, because I want to build a relationship with my people, just like Janet has done with you all here, but then the new people that are coming on, that we're just getting to know, that we want to engage with you, and we're not just wanting to gift, ask you to do things for us. We also want to give you things.
And one thing that you could really do too is in the chat here or on the Facebook page or in comments on YouTube, tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what your challenges are. Tell us what you're experiencing, because that helps us, provide content that's targeted to what it is that you are actually having as your own challenges.
That's such a great thing, because you know what? We're all in such different places. Everybody's in a different place. And so knowing what it is that you need and what it is that you want is going to be so helpful. Like, hey, could you all talk about this? Could you all talk about this? Or what about this? What about that? Letting us know ahead of time. And then we can, we certainly will be bringing this on. And what's so great is this channel is going to be on Roku and Amazon Fire. And it's going to be so awesome, because we're going to be talking about Ascension and astrology that's going to go out to the regular mainstream people. And that's really the people that need to see it and need to hear about it, because we once were there, right? We once were there where we had no idea what all this stuff is. And now we do.
Yeah. And I am tired of people that are on Facebook. They do these Facebook Lives or Instagrams, and they get on there and all they're doing is just talking about a bunch of BS. And not even spiritual stuff. They're talking about their problems, or and they might have 100 million subscribers. I've seen this. My own daughter was at one point watching this woman who was obviously mentally ill, and whatever it was she was saying, she would, trigger devil stuff, and, Satan's coming to get you, and people would make these rude comments, and she'd see them, and then she would make it bigger. And literally that woman had more likes and more views than my astrology work gets.
Well,
I was like, are you kidding me?
I know, but you know what? Isn't that just how negativity spreads?
Yes.
It's how negativity spreads. And that's why we have to flip the switch, ladies and gentlemen. We have to flip the switch, and we have to, let the good news media, we have to put out the good positivity. Content. Because how many times have you and I talked back in the past about, don't you wish we could just turn on TV and have a channel of good news?
We did. We were going to do something like that.
Well, we're doing it now. It just took us a few years to get here, but we've got it now.
Technology's come a long way.
But there was something that somebody was saying in here that I wanted to, I can't remember. Yeah, Camille, what did she say?
Yes, I think you are correct. There will be and is a resistance. Some suffer cognitive dissonance and dogma trapped.
Yeah.
We got to cast off that dogma.
Yeah. And that's why it's like, as we continue on rising, and as the frequencies are rising on the planet, all the people that are not holding that vibrational frequency, there's just going to be more and more suffering, more and more dissonance, more and more of that. So we have to be able to be those beacons. We have to be those miracle workers, those shining lights, and have no doubt, and really model what it's like to be the masters, the miracle workers, the consciousness Christ holders, the in action.
Did you see what Vanita wrote? She wrote, addiction to drama is rampant. So what if we became addicted to joy? Addicted to love.
That's so great.
That was a song.
Yeah. Back in the day because I was the biggest addict. You mean
drug addict? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I was a drug addict. No, all that. I was an addict. I was a drama queen. I was addicted to drugs. I smoked. I had all kinds of addictions. You name it. You name it. I had it.
I've heard some of your stories.
Yeah. So you name it, I had it. And what's so interesting is that one by one, letting all of those negative addictions go, and then, really moving into positive habits, yoga, things like
meditation,
that.
yoga.
Yeah, meditation, yoga, all the good things that are good for you. Because again, all those other things were habits and a lack of love for self, and really, at my root core, I discovered that I had self-hatred. And I discovered that at my root is that I hated myself. And it was like, oh my God, that was the root core of my addiction, is that self-hate. And many times I wanted to commit suicide and leave this planet, because I didn't feel like I could bear it. I couldn't stand myself. I hated myself. And to be able to transcend that energy, that's why I know, hey, if I can do it from the place where I was at, let me tell you something, anyone can. To move from a place of self-hate into extreme, supreme love, into high self-love, radical self-love, high self-worth, high self-honor. That is something that you will take with you always, that no one can take from you, and that no amount of money can measure that self-love and that self-worth that I vibrate at today, and that I help other people move into, right? And it's all possible, but we have to be willing.
Right, you have to be willing. Some comments here. A lot of the old energy is passing away, Laura says. They didn't sign up to the new way. Natasha, hello. She says, I feel the same way. I feel like I have a cloak around me. Hello, Michelle. And Camille with her hearts. I love Camille's hearts. And so I think there's a lot of agreement here, resonance with what it is that we're saying. And, the next step is for us to keep taking this out. I think sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to a choir, because I know you all are resonating with this energy. My hope is that you pick up some of this, positive energy, and you begin resonating with it and spreading it outward into your world. And then that those people that you've spread it to pick it up and spread it, and it just goes viral, right?
Well, that's the ripple effect. That's the ripple effect. I mean, because when you think about it, when I was thinking about this last 24 hours or so, I think maybe at 2 a.m., I was thinking about, like the ripple effect. I was thinking about that, and like, think about where we are today in 2019 and where we were in 2012, and how much the planet has changed, and how many more people are awake today than they were in 2012. In 2012,
even though it doesn't look like it,
we were still in hiding. We were meeting in private women's circles, supporting each other to talk about things that we certainly couldn't talk about openly today. And that it has completely changed, where now so many more of us are in our courage and are openly speaking about our gifts, shining our lights, where before we were only doing that quiet as kept, in closed circles, behind the scenes. We were doing all that work behind the scenes that we did not see was having a positive effect. And that's why I was saying that was the ripple effect of that work that we were doing back then, when we were meeting in private circles, in secret societies, and doing all this ascension work and helping that spread that ripple effect.
Yeah,
that's really,
we've come a long way, baby.
Right? We have. Isn't that awesome?
I mean, it really is. And, I was just having a conversation with a woman that the other day I went and got a massage. And so one of the women there is an esthetician, and she used to come to the store I had in Cedar Woolley. And she's like, well, I don't know what happened, Janet. It's like all the women just disappeared. Like, we had this whole circle of women that would meet. And there was men in it too. It was a Wicca circle. So we were, learning about how to be in balance with nature. And she said that it's like only 1 or 2 people ever show up.
Was that Mystic Moon?
Yeah, it was that Mystic Moon.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, that's so sad. Where did they go and why? She said she thought a lot of people just went to solitary practice. Well, there's nothing wrong with solitary practice, so don't get me wrong. It's not a problem. But think of how much more influence you have when there's more. Even God or Jesus said, where two or more are gathered, right? It's like there's more power in numbers. So when we join together, even if it's like this, where we're, through the table or the cable lines or whatever, we're connected. And there's power in that connection and sharing what we know. Spread some sparkles around, Stephanie says.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm talking about. Like this whole social media thing, when you look at social media and you go to Facebook and you look at all the places and everybody's just putting stuff out. But really what people are longing for, I feel people are longing to connect.
To connect.
That's what I want. I want connection. I want connection with people. I want connection. I want to feel connected. I want to, I want to feel connected even to my neighbors. Like I have this cool neighbor lady. She's so cool. She's such a sweet and nice lady. And I'm thinking, this is so nice. I didn't grow up like that, and that's one of the things that I really love about the community I live in is the fact that I love my neighbors. How many people actually get to say that, hey,
I don't know.
We know our neighbors, we love our neighbors, and that this is important to me is whatever community that I live in is that I love my neighbors and that I get to know my neighbors, where before everybody's just so busy and nobody's even paying attention to their neighbors, or they can't stand their neighbors or whatever, right? The new world that I want to build, and this is why, again, I'm saying this is what I love, this is what I want. I want connection and community with my neighbors. I want connection and community with my tribe. I want connection and community with the people that I'm engaging with on the YouTube channel. I want connection and community with my newsletter group. People to connect with me and collaborate with me.
Yeah. Well, human beings are tribal by nature. We are a community-based organism. I mean, really, that is, we may go off in our different directions, but we thrive in community and connection.
And don't you want the new earth, the seed, the ground that we are seeding right now, what we are actually speaking into being, what you are witnessing and what you're saying yes to? We're seeding the ground with connection. That we want to build a new earth that is connected, where we can love our neighbors, where we can connect with each other, support each other, love each other, ask for what it is that we need. That's the ground we're building right now. And this is what we're speaking into being by saying, this is what I want. This is what I want. Joy first, connection, right?
And then we all chip in to help one another. I mean, there's something so wonderful about helping people within your community to get what they need or to get what they want or to just to see them smile and be happy, to spread joy.
You know what I feel like is that people love to give.
They do.
I know that you do, because you always want to, like right away, it's like you want to, and I've noticed this about you where, when she's receiving, she wants to right away give back instead of just receiving it in. So she's receiving something and then right away she wants to give something back. Yeah. But I think it's our human nature that we want to give and that we really feel good in giving. And I think the receiving piece had to be learned. We had to learn how to receive, but at our nature, we love to give. We absolutely love to give, right?
Yep.
And like, what happens when a friend calls you and says, can you help me with this? Or can you help me with this? Or I need this. Or somebody comes and knocks on the door and says, do you have some eggs? Or, whatever. Is that we really love giving.
There's just something about it, right? It makes us feel good. It makes, I don't know. I think it strengthens the connection that you have with your neighbors or your friends or your family. And, let's face it, a lot of people are disconnected from even their own family members, right? We talked about that in one of our shows, how, some of our listeners had family members who've just cut them off, right? Cut them out of their lives like they're nothing. And that hurts, right? That hurts. It hurts everybody, even them, even though they may not see that, because we thrive when we are connected.
Absolutely. And you know what? And here's the other thing that we are. Among being miracle workers, we're also bridge builders. It's our job in this unity consciousness, in this Christ consciousness, in this ascended state, in this new earth that is here now, in this heaven on earth, in this creation of our own version of paradise. It's our responsibility to build the bridges, to build the bridges and to extend the bridge, the connection, to extend it and offer that forgiveness, that compassion, that empathy, that
Love.
unconditional love,
Yep.
that leadership, whatever that is, and forgive the past. That's also the other thing. And the main thing is put joy first.
Joy first.
Joy first. This was a great show.
It was. I can't even believe it's 4:59 p.m. End of the show. So thank you all for joining us this evening or this morning or this afternoon, wherever it is you are. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we're going to take up Pluto and Saturn and eventually Jupiter in Capricorn. And what does that mean for us in fertilizing our soil, let's say.
That's good. And then if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, please think about it, send them on, bring them on, and let's talk about it.
Yes, okay. And remember, like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube. Yay, yay, yay.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Oh, hugs and love all. Giving feelings good when it's received, not so good when your giving is not received. Yes, I agree.